Today we're having a look at a relatively affordable Ferrari that can be a great future investment. And this is a gated manual 360 Modena. This particular example of 360 Modena is configured in a traditional Rosso Corsa. The paint is actually in a great condition, and paired up with having a gated manual gearbox, it makes it one of the most desirable out of the whole 360 Modena range. We have it here with 57,300 kilometers for sale at the Engine Room Amsterdam, at a price of €132,900. But this car can and will be most likely a great potential future investment. Launched in 1999, the 360 Modena was a benchmark car for Ferrari. It really represents the transition that the brand had from more vintage to more modern models, and the predecessors of the 360 included a lot of different innovations. That is the 328, the 348 and the beautiful 355 Berlinetta. The 355 in itself introduced the F1 gearbox that later became very popular. However, what the 360 Modena really brought in Ferrari was not only more modern looks and an updated interior, but also much more higher performance numbers. In comparison to its rivals, such as the Lamborghini Gallardo or perhaps the Porsche 996 Turbo, what the 360 Modena actually distinguishes itself by is because of the naturally aspirated V8, as well as the manual gated gearbox that this particular example has. What this actually brings is an amazing driving experience. It is not that fast, 4.5 seconds 0 to 100 and up to a top speed of 295 kilometers per hour, but the pleasure of listening to the V8 while shifting that gated gearbox is second to none. The language design of the 360 Modena was actually done by Pininfarina. As you can tell, this car is 22 years old, and it is characterized by having very flowy forms instead of sharp lines. For example, the wheels, very simple, just 5-spoke aluminum wheels with red brake calipers behind that actually suit the car perfectly. And on that note, let's actually have a look at how beautiful the engine is. If we open the lid, we can actually have a closer look at it and see this 3.6 liter V8 that is naturally aspirated. The 360 Modena name, actually reason why it is called like this is because of how many liters the engine actually has. Looking at it, it is magnificently displayed. It produces 400 horsepower, which by the time was quite a lot. And if we look at it, we can see this amazing engine that actually, let's have a listen to it. As you can imagine, the sound is one of the most iconic features of this car. And that was just 3,000 revs. This engine actually revs up to 8,500 RPM. So, what other driving experience can you get that's better than a gated manual with a naturally aspirated V8 that revs up that high? Not that many, but on that note, let's actually dive into the interior and have a look at it. This is actually a pretty spacey interior for such a small car. And that is partly thanks to these seats. These are actual manual seats which could be configured with a 360, and while maybe you would be used to some automatic seats and prefer them, the fact that they are manual seats allows for more headroom above your own head, which in my case, being 197, makes me feel very comfortable in here. Some other details include a full black leather interior, which being from 2002 actually brought a lot of different innovations that the previous model, the 355, definitely didn't have. And that includes, for example, a pretty funny sports button down on the left, which now in more modern Ferraris is actually located on the manettino in the steering wheel. And for example, Ferrari was choosing to sort of hide away some of these ugly buttons in a way and put them under different spaces within the car. And on that note, speaking of buttons, one of the particularities of this example is that the sticky buttons, which is an effect that some older Ferraris such as the F430 or this 360 had, have been removed and replaced by new ones, so this is not the case for this car. And of course, what we cannot forget and what makes this particular 360 very desirable and actually a collector's piece is this. the gated manual gearbox. This is actually a 6-speed gated manual gearbox that very few of the 360 Modenas that were produced actually equipped. And the reason hence is that the F1 gearbox that was automatic and introduced in the 355 Berlinetta was the most popular across the 360 owners back from 1999 to 2005 when it was produced. So the fact that we have here at the engine room a gated manual example with such a great condition both on the interior and on the paint and the outside makes this car very, very, very unique. If we have a look here at the front, we can tell that there is quite a lot of luggage space, and we found that same thing in the cabin inside, which shows that this car actually is ready to do many more kilometers. This particular example is not just great for collectors who are looking for a car that has been properly maintained, recently serviced and is in great condition, but also it is ready for a person who would like to really make the best out of it and take it for many more kilometers, enjoying its V8 naturally aspirated sound with that amazing gated manual gearbox. Having been introduced in 1999 by Ferrari as basically their entry-level model, this 360 Modena is now offered at a price that is half of that of a 360 Challenge Stradale. You can very rarely find a gated manual, naturally aspirated V8 car that is actually modern and for the price of €132,900. We're very proud to offer this car here at the Engine Room Amsterdam in perfect condition with perfect paint with just 59,300 kilometers and ready to do many more. Whether you're a pure driver ready to enjoy this amazing gearbox or a collector who's willing to add a pretty rare car to its garage, this is your opportunity. Get in touch with us if you're interested in more information and we'll sure be ready to help you. See you in the next one.